Hi everybody, welcome to Barton Level 8, Lesson 11. Okay, so your student is getting kind of close to being done with Level 8. We're really going to go in the weeds today. So I know I've said that before, I really mean it this time though. Okay, so we have the word hi on the screen here. Hi. American words do not get to end with the letter I. The only reason that this one does is because it's short for the word hello. If your student was going to look up hi in the dictionary or in their spell checker, they would see that there's actually several ways to spell it, including HIE, which means to hurry, and this one, HIGH. Okay, so we call this the three-letter I. Okay, usually followed by a T. We'll talk about that in a second. But it's three letters, and the reason that the GH are there, A, they're silent, and B, they're there so that that I is not at the end of the word. Generally, these are going to be super old words, okay? So, hi. We've also got thigh and sigh, and boom, you can follow it by a T for sight. Light, bite, meaning like, you know, like a curve, like that curve had a big bite in it, okay? And you also might find a word like might also followed by a T. We also talked about reminding students how to join the suffixes together. So you can change might to mighty, and then mighty to might-ily. Remember, you've got to change your Y to an I there. There's many ways to spell this IT sound now. So if you were to look up, like we saw the word sight earlier, if you were to look that up, you would see that we've got sight as in references, C-I-T-E. We've got sight as in eyesight, S-I-G-H-T. So this is where we're talking about like a ton of homonyms, and using the right one is going to be really important. Same thing with bite. We saw B-I-G-H-T. I mean, that's not a common way to spell bite, right? So still a word they should know. Their vocabulary should be pretty rich, and they should be building words like that. We also have B-Y-T-E, which would be like a megabyte or a unit of measure in your computer. And then we've got bite as in like an apple, B-I-T-E. So anyhow, moving on. We also are going to talk more about the aw sound. Now, we talked about this before. Aw sounds a lot like ah, but you really have to think about what your tongue is doing. It is doing something different there. Aw. And this one is also one that, you know, taut, like here meaning tight, like the sheet was taut on the bed. But we also have taught as in I taught a lesson. AUGH, also usually followed by a T, okay? So we've got not as in like nautical, and then we've got not as in naughty, okay? And you would think then that all of the aughts are going to be spelled A-U-G-H-T. And so like fought is probably spelled F-A-U-T or F-A-U-G-H-T, but no. No, that's not right either. The way that we spell fought is with an O-U-G-H-T. So, you know, this lesson is really just kind of showing your student that they're actually very advanced right now. And they've earned this, but it's tricky. And so they should be careful when they're spelling these words because they have many, many, many ways to spell them. I think the letter A maybe has seven ways to spell A in a word right now. Even just with aw, we have, which is an unusual sound in our language. We have AU, we have AW, and now we have AUGHT. So there's three ways to spell that aw sound, depending on where it is. All right. So that's part one. Part two is going to be talking more about A's. Okay, so we have wait as in EIGHT, A. This always says A. E-I-G-H-T always says A. So we see it in a word like 8. Again, this is usually followed by the letter T. That's right. Okay, 8. It is not always followed by the silent GH. So EIGH sometimes does not have its GH. And we can see that in a word like vain, okay? It's not V-E-I-G-H-N, okay? It is actually uncommon for this EI just to say A right there. There's only a few words where it does that. So let's take a look at what else it'll say. This word is not going to be leisure. It's going to be leisure. So right here, the EI is saying E as in leisure. Well, that's weird. Again, it's saying the E sound right here. Weird. Okay, so now we would have your student kind of look up how to spell the word. This is going to be the word Keith. Okay. So in this case, it's going to be an EI, Keith. So we come to the dreaded EIGH. And I know that we all learned back in school, I before E except after C. I like that. I think it actually works pretty well a lot of the times. I before E except after C, and unless it says A as in neighbor and way, okay? So are there words that don't follow that? Sure. I mean, weird, right? That's one. Heist, that's one. There are always exceptions to these rules, but as a generalization, that works pretty well. I before E except after C, unless it says A as in neighbor and way. So let's take a look at some words that it does follow. Receive, there's an EI right after the C there. How about the word ceiling? What would I use here? Well, I would use EI because it is right after the letter C. Okay. Conceit, that would be an EI because it's after the C. Yield. They'd probably need to look this up if they didn't know for sure that it was an IE instead of the EI. Okay, yield. So again, your students super advanced. They've got a lot of choices here. They need to just kind of plug on and look up what they need to look up until they have committed these things to memory. So that's all of the teaching. Let's talk about where we're going to house this stuff. Sorry, I hear stuff going on in the background here. Okay, I did write all of them. I housed them in the vowel teams, the pairs and the diphthongs here. We have IGH, AUGH, EIGH, and EI, and what they say. You can certainly pause, take a look at that. All right, let's switch screens though and go and do the practice work really quick so that you know how to do that. In each row, circle the correctly spelled word. Use your spell checker if you're not sure. So this one has the letter C, so you should be able to get I before E except after C. And then we've got naughty, weightless, overnight, neighborhood. That one you might have to look up. Sigh and bought. Find words that rhyme. So we have rain and pain, thought and caught, night and fright, try, thigh, play, sleigh, overweight, overrate, and peeling, ceiling. All right. And lastly, I also completed the circle the words with EI. So first of all, your student needs to go in and only circle the words that have EI, not IE. Then write the words in which EI makes the same sound as E as in receive. So we ear, deceit, protein, leisure, conceit, and perceive. So a few of those are going to fall off, like outweigh, that says A, and 88, that says A. And then fluency drills, same as always, you know, just make sure they're dot dot dividing, not guessing, and great time as always to look up words like estuary and neurology and presumptuous and perpetually and euphoric and pasteurized and therapeutic. If they do not know what those mean, it's a great time to work on vocabulary. Okay, so decode, don't guess, and we'll see you next time.